The United States, once a beacon of hope for migrants, is witnessing a peculiar trend. People are fleeing, not in droves, but in a steady trickle, northward to Canada. This isn't the typical narrative of south-to-north migration. It's a reversal, a reflection of changing political climates and tightening borders. For years, the U.S. saw a significant influx of migrants seeking asylum and a better life. Now, the tables are turning. The reasons? Complex and intertwined, rooted in policy shifts, economic anxieties, and the human desire for safety and security. The narrative of the American dream for some is fading. It's being replaced by a sense of uncertainty, even fear. The political landscape, particularly in the United States, has become increasingly hostile towards immigrants. The Trump administration's hardline stance on immigration, with its focus on border security and stricter enforcement, has created a climate of anxiety and apprehension. This has led many, particularly those living in the U.S. with precarious legal status, to look elsewhere for refuge. Canada, with its reputation for tolerance and its more welcoming approach to immigration, has emerged as an alternative destination. This shift in migration patterns is not just a story of numbers and policies. It's about human lives, families uprooted, and individuals making desperate choices in the face of uncertainty. It's about the courage to leave behind familiar surroundings, to venture into the unknown, driven by the hope for a brighter future. This northward migration is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but it also exposes the cracks in the systems designed to protect the vulnerable. The Trump administration's impact on immigration policy cannot be overstated. From the outset, President Trump made it clear that curbing illegal immigration was a top priority. His administration implemented a series of measures aimed at deterring and penalizing those entering or residing in the U.S. illegally. These measures included increased border patrols, stricter enforcement of immigration laws, and a reduction in the number of refugees admitted into the country. While the stated goal was to strengthen border security and protect national interests, the impact on migrant communities was profound. The climate of fear created by these policies was palpable. Undocumented immigrants already living in the shadows faced increased scrutiny and the constant threat of deportation. Families were separated, with parents detained and children placed in foster care. The administration's rhetoric, often dehumanizing and inflammatory, further fueled the sense of anxiety and vulnerability among immigrant communities. This crackdown on illegal immigration, while popular among some segments of the American public, had unintended consequences. The message was clear: the U.S. was becoming a less welcoming place for immigrants. This message resonated beyond those directly affected by the policy changes. It sent ripples of concern through immigrant communities across the country, including those with legal status. The uncertainty surrounding future policy changes, coupled with the increasingly hostile environment, led many to question their place in American society. For some, the answer was to seek refuge elsewhere. The U.S.-Canada border, once a symbol of friendship and cooperation, is now a point of contention and desperation. The stories emerging from the border towns paint a stark picture of the human toll of shifting migration patterns. In Washington state, border agents report a steady stream of migrants attempting to cross into Canada, often under the cover of darkness, braving harsh weather conditions and treacherous terrain. These aren't seasoned criminals or hardened smugglers. They are families, often with young children, driven by desperation. One particularly harrowing account involved a group of 9 migrants, including several children, who crossed from Montana into Alberta in the dead of winter. They were found huddled together in a remote area, suffering from hypothermia. Their journey, a testament to the lengths people will go to for safety, highlights the risks migrants are willing to take in search of a better life. These stories are not isolated incidents. In Alberta, Canadian authorities have reported a significant increase in the number of illegal crossings. These migrants, many of whom had been living in the U.S. legally but feared the outcome of their pending immigration cases, saw Canada as their only option. The stories of these migrants, each unique and compelling, challenge the simplistic narratives often used to describe immigration. They are stories of resilience, of families torn apart and reunited, of individuals risking everything for a chance at a better life. Canada, long seen as a welcoming destination for immigrants, is grappling with the complexities of this new migration trend. The Safe Third Country Agreement, designed to streamline the asylum process between the two countries, has come under scrutiny. The agreement, which requires asylum seekers to make their claim in the first safe country they arrive in, has been criticized for creating a backlog of cases and for putting vulnerable individuals at risk. Recent amendments to the Safe Third Country Agreement, aimed at closing loopholes and deterring irregular migration, have further complicated the situation. The Canadian government, under increasing pressure to address both the humanitarian crisis at the border and the concerns of its citizens, is facing difficult choices. On one hand, there is a moral imperative to provide refuge to those fleeing persecution and violence. On the other hand, there are legitimate concerns about border security, the strain on social services, and the potential for abuse of the asylum system. The upcoming Canadian election has only intensified the debate, with political parties offering competing visions for the country's immigration future. Public opinion in Canada, as in many countries, is divided. While there is widespread support for welcoming refugees and immigrants, there are also concerns about the economic impact of immigration, particularly on housing and social services. The challenge for Canada is to find a balance between compassion and pragmatism, to uphold its humanitarian obligations while also addressing the concerns of its citizens. The northward migration trend, while still unfolding, has forced a national conversation about Canada's identity, its values, and its place in a changing world.